The following podcast is intended for mature audiences. If you enjoy our work, please like, comment, subscribe, and follow the links in the description. Thanks for your support, and enjoy.
Greetings and salutations, listener. It is I, Eric J. Chucky, joined, as always, by a guy who could wrestle a better match than Brian Kendrick, the boy.
Really? Look, I know he didn't exactly was on fire, but he's still a professional wrestler. That's a great compliment. Thank you.
Well, I mean, you understand the properties of tape.
Oh.
This is the Two Nerds Podcast, and we're talking about the 2016 Hell in a Cell. Hey, do you like rugby? Check them descriptions down below. Check out my friend Di's Rugby blog. I mean, you could give me money, too. I would really appreciate that.
That'd be great.
I wouldn't suck your dick or nothing.
No, that would make you a different kind of person who asks for money.
Yes, but I might draw you a pretty picture or just talk about you real nice on the internet. But that going to my friend's rugby blog doesn't cost you anything. So check that out and give him internet kisses.
Maybe not that second thing. That's weird.
Whatever. I don't want to say I was really looking forward to this pay-per-view. I believe I pinned it down in the car earlier. I thought the card looked good. I thought it looked interesting, but I wasn't excited for it because the last two WWE pay-per-views, maybe even the last three, I might not be remembering correctly, have been letdowns.
I wouldn't say that. The last two SmackDown pay-per-views have been letdowns.
I was not a fan of that last Raw pay-per-view, man.
Really? I thought it was okay.
I mean, but it wasn't what I thought it was going to be.
That's fair. Anyway, this pay-per-view.
This.
We didn't watch the pre-show because we don't. It was
We might have seen a cruiserweight match.
Yeah, we might have seen a cruiserweight match if we had. But it was like 9 minutes long, and it was a 6-man tag, so I'm sure not a lot of shit went down. Anyway, first match was Rusev Mutrya, Bulgarian, versus the big dog, the guy.
Is that what they call him now?
No, that's actually
you can't run with the big dog, stay off the porch.
That's literally one of his nicknames.
Oh God.
The big dog, the guy.
Jesus Christ.
He has a bunch of bad nicknames, just bad nicknames.
Romy Romanstein, I think is slightly better than the big dog.
I don't, because it seems almost anti-Semitic.
He's Samoan.
Right. That's why Romanstein probably not a good nickname for him.
Whatever.
Although I might use it for my EFAN character. Anyway, it was actually a really, really solid match. A really good opening match. The right energy, not a lot of slowdown, not a lot of points of real where they put a hard stop on it. It had a lot of really cool spots. It didn't go too over the top, which left you somewhere to go. It was actually a really, really solid match. May have been one of my favorite matches on the card, actually.
I agree. I don't know, but I agree.
It's not a lot you can say aside from ha ha ha, neener, 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 Roman Reigns is good.
Rusev is better.
Rusev is better. Oh, look, I'm not disputing that.
He even shaved to look more like face CM Punk. What do you want from him?
Roman Reigns is good. Roman Reigns is exactly where he belongs. He's in a mid-card feud for a mid-card title against a more experienced opponent, working up his game and getting comfortable with the fans. That's exactly where Roman Reigns should have been post-Shield. But
shit happens.
Shit happens, essentially.
It's not quite Batman and the Infinite Sadness, but the status of Roman Reigns is an oft-discussed topic on this podcast.
Yeah.
Simmer down now, I think.
Yeah, pretty much. Donna Summer about it, okay?
Yeah.
But it was a really, really good match. One of my favorite matches on the card. I would say you know what? No, I'm not going to talk about it compared to the other Hell in a Cell matches till we get to the end. That way we can talk about them each individually. Do you have anything specific?
I liked the accolade with the chain spot.
Yeah, that was cool.
I like Rusev a lot.
He's a good talent, dude.
He's so fucking good. I don't know what else to say. I mean, no, you encapsulated it perfectly. It was a very good match. It was a great way to open the show, and it didn't go too big.
Which is what I was scared of. honestly, more than anything. But it was they got it close to a half hour, really solid time frame. Roman won. I didn't really feel the need to open with that because that's obviously what was going to happen.
I'm disappointed.
By the end of the match, if Roman had lost, I wouldn't have hated it because they really earned whatever finish they wanted. It was a good match.
What's up next?
Yeah, next is Bayley versus Dana Brooke in a We Need Another match.
I liked it a lot.
Yeah, fucking Dana Brooke impressed. I've never actually seen her wrestle before because I don't watch Raw. It was like she impressed. I know she's super green, but she did a damn good job. Bayley made her look real good. Bayley made her look strong. Hashtag never going to let you live that down, internet. Make Roman look strong. How they made it a meme.
I
don't go to the internet? Good.
I don't care about Roman Reigns' career, so I wasn't even aware that was a statement.
That's because CM Punk made jokes about it when he went on Colt Cabana's podcast.
Oh, that was like over a year ago.
Yeah, no, I'm bitter.
No, I mean, that's fine. I just, like, for me, I don't care. If it was someone I gave a shit about, I would probably have heard of it. But I didn't. I'm sorry.
But yeah, no, Bayley did make Dana Brooke look really strong. Dana Brooke's entrance is really cool. She does a fucking flip on her way in. That looks really sweet.
Yeah, I mean, I liked that match a lot. It was
She's got a really good look.
Yeah, it was very by the numbers, and in a good way.
Yeah. Quick match, 7 minutes, just a little reset.
Yeah, Bayley went over, and I appreciate that. I think she deserved it after being robbed last pay-per-view.
Same. Next match?
Yeah, next match. Who gives a fuck?
Let's see. That was Enzo Amore and Big Colin Cassidy.
Wow, really? Already?
Yeah, versus the Big Gal and Andy. That's their names now. So that's how we will refer to them.
This was a contest.
Like the promo by Enzo and Big Cass beforehand was really good.
Yeah, it was good. Just
good fun,
really
lot of good wit.
There was a promo before that.
Also,
Jericho.
It was literally longer than the match.
Well, yeah.
The match was 6 minutes and 45 fucking seconds.
If I may briefly interject, there was a promo with Jericho talking about Survivor Series.
Oh, yeah, no, all right. People have been talking about how good Jericho is recently, and I haven't been watching Raw.
I don't like his stupid idiot shtick. I think it's fucking stupid.
The stupid idiot shtick was, like, it was funny the one time when I thought he was genuinely frustrated with someone, but then it became a shtick, and it was not good. But, like, apparently at some point he fucking transmorphosed into gold because the promo between him, Mick Foley, and Steph was platinum. It was fucking priceless, precious gems. It was amazing.
Between his mugging and his use of the list, ignoring Stephanie, it was just great heel work. The words he chose, fantastic stuff.
I fully agree. If this is what he's been delivering week in, week out, yeah, no. Okay, I get it. Jesus fuck, he's good right now.
Yeah.
Wow.
And let him do what he's doing, acting like a manager.
Yeah, definitely. A manager's a really good role for him.
Yeah.
That's a really good role. He's a solid mouthpiece. He's still physically capable enough to, get involved, mix up in the ring, do moves, but he's not wrestling full matches. This is perhaps the best possible position for Chris Jericho at this point.
I digress. Back to the tag team match. I mean, it was fine.
It happened.
Like, no one's going to say that Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy are, like, amazing technical wrestlers. And while Andy managed to pull off one pretty good spot, one move,
he ruined it by going, hi-ya! As he did it.
Which he does every time he does a kick.
And you know what? I know the mic spiked. You deserve it because I hate him.
It'll normalize. I don't understand him. I don't understand him. Luke Gallows just, every time I look at him.
The big gal.
Don't take away from Luke Gallows.
Okay, all right. It could be Luke Gallows and Andy. It's not Luke Gallows' fault.
He's not genius.
He's hiding, right?
Like, I get what Gallows. He's the big boss man without being a cop. If he were smaller, he would be the very definition of a vanilla midget. But instead, he's just a vanilla tall guy.
Whereas Andy is the very definition of a vanilla midget.
And the way he tries to improve himself is so stupid.
Stop going Hayao.
I want to push
You're
him
not Bruce
down
Lee.
some stairs.
You aren't Bruce Lee. You're lame. Stop it.
I want to push him down some stairs after he thought I was his friend.
So you can see, like, face to
The
face, so you can
betrayal.
see the betrayal in his eyes.
Yeah, and I'd just be like, I never liked you. You're bad at wrestling. I mean, so am I, but, you know.
We're not trying to get paid for it.
Yeah, no.
And we're not taking up a spot on the main event of, or rather, on a fucking WWE pay-per-view that could go to a
all
talent.
fucking matches are main events. But who cares?
19 main events.
I mean,
On
a pre-show match, main event.
it's the main event of the pre-show. But he's not taking up. We're not taking up spots on a WWE card during a pay-per-view that can go to more talented wrestlers, like, I don't know, any other member of Bullet Club. Literally any other member of Bullet Club. Literally any other member of Bullet Club.
I would take 2 AJ Styles.
Yeah, I would take 2 AJ Styles taped together before I want to watch another Andy match.
But they just separate and fight on their own because clearly the person responsible for taping is Brian Kendrick.
Man, you make Brian Kendrick a tape of meme, aren't you?
You know, I'm gonna hold off on disliking him personally for decisions, but you know, because that's brass can come in on that. I'm aware, but
Brass
man
can
can't tape.
Look, all right, we'll get to it. I have thoughts too. I'm not as salty about it as you are, but I also have thoughts. But we ain't there yet.
Not quite, no. But this was an okay match. Bullet Club went over, which is what you said was the best idea.
Honestly, they desperately needed a win.
Because they're ridiculous.
Big Enzo and Big Cass they're over. They're fine. Like, losing this match doesn't hurt them. Doesn't hurt their push. They're still going to get huge reactions in the next thing, and whenever New Day drops the title, they're going to beat whoever New Day dropped it to, and then they'll be tag champs. It's basically written in stone at this point, unless one of them fucking explodes. The Bullet Club really, genuinely, desperately needed a fucking win here.
Yeah.
They have become a joke, and you don't want them to be a joke.
And not a funny one. They're like 2 tiny big shows.
They're Sweet Tea. They're fucking Lord Tenzai.
No, I'm sorry. Sweet Tea was a more entertaining and interesting tag team.
That's fair. That's fair.
They're not even scientists anymore.
That's all to the good. Like, that was so terrible.
It was stupid. Like, okay, you know, maybe I haven't been clear, listener. Maybe I haven't been, you know, crystal. The reason they're bad, beyond Andy, because now I've forgotten his name.
His name's Andy. He's been rechristened.
Beyond him being a very mediocre wrestler with the stupidest idea of what makes a move cool.
It's not the word Hayat.
No, it fucking isn't.
It never is.
Beyond the fact that their look is garbage, they bought neat coat and vest to try to compensate, but as neat as those coat and vest are,
they take them off when they wrestle, and thus their look returns to garbage.
But their gimmick is in e-fetting. I'm going to make this correlation because it gives me a frame of reference to translate this to you. In e-fetting, you want somebody to have a solid gimmick when they come in. Even if they're just like a blue chipper, you know, just someone who, you know, just goes to work, punches their card, does their best kind of thing.
Rocky Maivia.
Sure. Even if they're just somebody who's, you know, just doing what they can. So long as they have personality, you can do that. Otherwise, you end up with nothing. Or floundering. Or, like, AJ Styles, for as much as I don't like him, he has a very clear personality.
Yeah, I might think his personality is unbelievable.
I
might think his personality is incredibly unbelievable, but it is well established. It is well acted. I just hate it.
Or he's an overrated redneck. That's his gimmick.
Except for that would be a great gimmick if he got booze.
Well, that's the weird thing, right? That's the fans making it hinky, but whatever. I fight for that right all the time, so I'm not going to argue with it. But he lives out his gimmick. I am an overrated redneck. That's what the past few weeks with that guy with no chin have been about. AJ Styles is an overrated redneck. Let's point and laugh.
Yeah.
Fine. But these guys don't have that. They're just guys. Okay? So if you're not the fire dude, if you're not the big dude, if you're not the guy,
it's bad.
It's bad. All they do is just sort of, when it's time to cut a promo, they just say shit. And none of it's connected. None of it's unified. You know, even if you're in
Their
a
gimmick
stable,
started out as invading foreign, power from Japan.
like NWO style.
That's where they started out, and then it just immediately petered off because they didn't get any wins and they were a fucking joke.
And they separated them from AJ Styles, which good for AJ Styles, but
Bad for them.
Bad for Gallows. Andy's getting what he deserves.
Yeah.
But it's just, they say whatever comes to their mind. So yeah, one pay-per-view they are going to be PP scientists. And the next pay-per-view they're back to being serious badasses, I guess.
And it's the gimmick, instead of face heel, it is the gimmick equivalent of, you were right, you had it nailed, the Big Show.
Mm-hmm.
You can't bounce back and forth like that. You stop being believable, and we stop paying attention.
Well, if you don't have a definitive character, it's hard to... Like, okay, think of the characters in Game of Thrones. This is something I do all the time. I don't give them names.
No, he breaks them down to their gimmick.
Yeah, I break them down to whatever they are. Uncle Gonna Die, and
that's Benjen Stark.
God, what were the other characters in that show? It's been so long I can't remember.
I believe you originally referred to Jon Snow, who has wormed his way into your head with his name because you hate him, as Pouty Lips
Emo
and
Stark.
Emo Stark.
Emo Stark was the one
And
there.
Sad Face.
Yeah.
And I hate this guy.
I still use that one. Yeah, or Blue Balls.
Yeah, Blue Balls. Jorah Mormont, King of the Friend Zone.
Which I love Jorah Mormont. I know his name. I always have, but Blue Balls is a better name. Just so sad he is. But, he can't do that with Andy and the big gal. It's just those bald guys, I guess.
There's mean bald people.
Yeah, those they're not even really mean, just those bald guys.
They always maintain at least unfriendly.
You know what? I tell you what. From what I've understood, the Bullet Club was a really great stable. Tight, together, tough, And when you do a good stable, you talk up the stable. You're like, you can't stop us. We're the Bullet Club, or the club as it is. We got each other's backs. You know what they should have done with these guys is recruit, 2 more dudes. 1 to 3 more dudes. And then, be a badass stable. Be the next.
Fuck it. Just make them the Shield.
Recruit the Shield.
1 more guy. You got your Dean Ambrose. You got your Seth Rollins. Strap a newbie to him. Give him a Roman Reigns to carry. And make him the Shield.
Yeah, it's that simple. But you didn't. Instead, you have aces and eights.
And that's not a good thing. Anyway, we've now talked about this match for far longer than it happened. Shall we move on?
Yeah, please.
This was the position for the Universal Championship on the card, which, okay, on the one hand, I really like that they put the women's title in the main event. That's really cool. That's a really cool change. It's a great way to signal to your audience how seriously you're taking things. On the other hand, it's not a great way to push what should be your world title.
On the third hand, it's the Strawberry Championship. No one actually cares.
It's basically the Intercontinental title.
Yeah, so whatever. Yeah, I appreciate them accepting where
the Strawberry Championship should go. But Seth Rollins versus Kevin Owens in a Hell in a Cell match for the WWE Strawberry title.
This was a good match. It was a lot slower paced, and that hurt it. But it was still very interesting to watch. Lots of really good spots, but I think it benefits from being mid-card because, spoiler alert, it ended really fucky. So you don't want to close out your show with that bit of business.
That's fair. That's a fair counterpoint. I think you might be right on that. It was until the fuckiness showed up, which frustrated me because I don't... That's not what Hell in a Cell matches are for. If you're going to have a fuck finish, don't put it in a cell.
Well, I kind of feel that way about so much stuff they've been doing lately. It seems like they start an angle and then, beyond being married to it for the next 3 pay-per-views, that's where the angle lives now. Nothing changes. Everything is status quo. And then the next pay-per-view, we're going to be back to Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins. That's my argument against The Miz. That's my argument against... all this other shit. And you could say that for the New Day, and to an extent it's true. But they've gone so far at this point, I'm okay with them coasting the last 6 months on whatever. Whereas compared to Dolph Ziggler, I Lose a Lot is a bad gimmick. And
I'm really good, but I lose a lot.
Yeah. just doesn't do
Choke
me.
artist is a bad gimmick.
Yeah, it really is. And The Miz, everybody says that I'm really good at my job, but I'm not. I just end up winning by circumstance. Because if the face commentators, and that's commentary is a lot of it. People like to, and myself included, like to shit on the commentary sometimes. But the commentary is there to help give you a frame of reference for the action.
JR said it best. Wrestlers play the music, commentary gives you the lyrics.
To that extent, I'm really happy they're doing hard face and heel with Byron Saxton and Corey Graves.
And I know that this podcast is generally an anti-hard face heel dichotomy podcast, but that's for the performers more than the announcers.
Yeah, the announcers, it's a lot better to have some, two guys who are...
at the very least, have opposing views on things, and it's face heel dichotomy is a really easy way to do that.
Sure. I mean, even King and JR, when, there were some guys that were faces that King liked because they brought sexy girls with them or whatever.
Like The Godfather.
Yeah, and JR would be like, oh my god, I can't believe this crap or whatever. But,
and there was a good guy. He was a good guy. The fans loved him, and he, fought for right and justice and such, but he was the Godfather, and JR was like, this is ridiculous, and the King loved it. So it doesn't have to be 100%, but it's good to have guys who have very strong opinions because it lets you frame your story well.
That being said, nobody ever puts over The Miz. Nobody ever argues with it. It's just, oh yeah, The Miz, he's the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time. I'd suck his dick for half a penny. And no one's like, he keeps winning matches on accident. Once he won a match, and I still don't know why.
I think that's partially because they don't like calling attention to their shitty booking. And
so turn it into not shitty booking. Take that and go, how does The Miz keep getting out of this? What is this luck on The Miz's side?
Is he just the luckiest asshole ever born?
Turn it into a real version of Big Match John. He just keeps finding a way to win. Not like, he digs deep and manages to succeed.
No, he's just a wily motherfucker.
Yeah, just shit keeps happening around him. It's like he's got a rabbit's foot. It's like he's covered in rabbit's feet.
Yeah, but the WWE doesn't do subtlety like that. If they wanted to do that, it would be much more ridiculous.
Sure, I mean, like, leprechauns would fall out of his pockets and shit, but...
Like, the lights would turn off and turn back on, and Miz would clearly have been doing... Like, he'd been unconscious, but when he... would have been unconscious, and then the lights went off and come back on, and then he's still unconscious, and, he's been draped over the other guy for the pinfall and the win. And it turns out it's not someone who's helping The Miz, it's just someone else unrelated who hates that first guy. And then the next pay-per-view, they do something entirely else, completely unrelated to The Miz, that just lets The Miz win. And it would be ridiculous and entirely overdone. I like The Miz being sort of a lucky asshole because the fans, this is something I don't necessarily know that's something I don't necessarily know you need the announcers for, because the fans know that he's not that good. The fans know that he's just lucky. Even the marks know that he's just lucky, not that there's many of those anymore. And the fact that he's a conceited asshole about it gets him more heat.
All right, and okay, but that's where you get into that tricky territory. And because we're talking about a Raw pay-per-view, if you don't mind, I'll go back to Andy and Luke Gallows.
That's fine.
I don't like this tag team. They're heels. That should be fine. That should be the desired result. I think that the mentality, if this mentality exists, of these guys suck, so let's make them the bad guys so that everyone hates them, is insulting to your more talented wrestlers.
A little ruthlessly efficient, I'm not going to lie.
I mean,
these guys are bad wrestlers. They're going to get booze anyway, but they're on contract. Might as well get them booze in a way that gives us money.
I mean, I guess, but don't hire bad wrestlers.
Once they're stuck in the contract, they might as well make their money.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if Andy's getting the renewal. And poor Luke's probably going with him. Rest in peace, Luke Gallows. Can't catch a break. But we were talking about Kevin and Seth, I believe.
Yes, we were. And this was, as I said, a good match. Fucky finish. At some point, Kevin Owens smoked the referee with a fire extinguisher, pretending he didn't know how to work a fire extinguisher. The door was opened to take care of the referee. Chris Jericho comes in.
And then now it's a handicap
Yeah,
match,
now
and
it's
eventually Kevin Owens wins. They'll go to the next pay-per-view. Next pay-per-view Survivor Series, and there'll probably not be a title match at Survivor
Yeah,
Series
they'll probably just carry that through.
to like the pay-per-view after, which honestly is pretty cool. Because you've already got 3 big-ass matches, and then the Goldberg-Brock Lesnar extravaganza that's going to take 45 minutes and be boring as fuck.
Oh my god.
And I have to talk about this now because I brought it up and I can't not fucking talk about it. They already had a fucking match. It's not fantasy war come to life. It's not a dream match. They already had a fucking match back in the 2000s. It was ass. They already had a fucking match. Please stop acting like they didn't already have a fucking match. Stop it, stop it, stop it.
Stop acting like Goldberg is a good wrestler. Look, okay, 5 Moves of Doom, whatever, John Cena of the 90s, fine. I'll give you that. But I mean, now.
We haven't seen him wrestle in years. We don't know.
I mean, sure, maybe he went off and became a good wrestler. I find that suspect.
Same.
Otherwise, he probably would have been working for a promotion worth a damn.
Same. Absolutely true. It's gonna be god. It's gonna be god awful. It's gonna be genuinely fucking
It's
bad.
gonna be Brock Lesnar suplexes a guy 57 times and then pulls out a chainsaw and cuts his head off.
No, I'm concerned they're gonna have Goldberg win.
Well, that's absolutely ridiculous.
But it's the kind of ridiculous that might actually happen. And that would be the biggest fucking, most titanic, hilarious waste in WWE history, to be perfectly honest. And I know that's a hyperbolic sounding statement, but no. I can't think of anything that would be worse, a worse waste of potential, of build, of heat, than having Goldberg beat Brock Lesnar. Fucking Bill Goldberg. Fuck that guy. That's the other thing, is they bring him back for this big payday and a one-off match when he's probably not even that big of a draw in real life anymore, and he's a dick. He is widely acknowledged to be one of the biggest assholes in the industry.
Yeah.
But, it's not my money. Actually, you know what? I'm a network subscriber. It is my money they're paying him.
It is.
Fuck you!
Yeah. Fuck Bill Goldberg. Fuck Brock Lesnar, for that matter. I'm getting tired of this little angle as well. It stopped being interesting.
How many people can Brock Lesnar suplex?
Sure.
How many times can he do it?
Yeah,
He's the world-ending mega boss, but Vince McMahon said himself fucking 2 years ago on the Stone Cold podcast. How many people can Brock Lesnar really beat up before it gets boring?
Yeah.
That's why they do him at limited, appearances. Because how many people can he fucking destroy before it gets boring? Turns out, however many he's already destroyed, plus one.
I was bored at his Randy Orton match, and beyond that being a stupid booking decision.
And an attempted murder.
Sure.
Alright, we've put it off about as long as we can. Now it's time for the WWE Cruiserweight Championship match. The Cruiserweight Championship belt still looks fucking cool. TJ Perkins' entrance is still fucking cool. TJ Perkins is still an incredibly charismatic, talented, driven talent. And I feel like the Cruiserweight division, provided they go with talents like TJ Perkins going forward, has a really bright future. But
I have nothing against Brian Kendrick until this match. I was really impressed by his performance in the CWC. I liked his stupid pirate flag. It's fine. Last pay-per-view, when we had Brian Kendrick, I questioned it because who the fuck cares? He's, really, let's be honest, he was the least well-performing athlete in the CWC.
He was also the least well-performing athlete in London and Kendrick.
He was better back then. It was once he got the Brian Kendrick gimmick. And it's not even about the gimmick. He just stopped performing as much as well, He sort of Sasha Banks did. But
is that a fucking hashtag now?
She really lost me a lot of momentum by acting like a child. So yeah, it kind of is.
Fair.
Whatever. I was looking forward to this match. I thought the gimmick they had around it, the storyline was really interesting, where Kendrick is like, "Let me win," and they're on the same side, and it's interesting. And then the match happened, and it was just as slow and boring as last Raw pay-per-views.
No, slower and more
yes,
boring.
no, yeah, it was slower and more boring than last Raw pay-per-views match. They went for this spot, and this is where it fell the fuck apart.
The fans were like they weren't loving it, but they were with it. They were like,
there,
all right, cool,
yeah.
this is a match, it's happening, we're interested.
It'll get to the exciting part eventually.
And then fucking TJP and Brian Kendrick both, because TJ was equally culpable in this, lost the audience's buy-in as hard and ridiculously as I've ever seen it done.
I mean, and it's one of those things where you just go with it, I guess. But, like, who the fuck is driving is what I want to know here. Why was this so fucking crucial? So, Kendrick and TJ are outside the ring. Kendrick takes the tape from TJ Perkins' wrist, unravels it, I don't know.
2 ravels, no more.
Yeah, like 6 inches. And then tries to tape him to the bottom rope.
It's fucking athletic tape. That's not how fucking athletic tape works. You need to unravel like fucking half of it.
Sure.
And rewrap it.
Or, get at least enough for him to fake holding on to it. But between his sweat and the sweat that was already on there, and the fact that that's not how that works, it didn't stick.
It immediately completely unraveled.
But
and
instead
then it was just
of fucking anything, Brian Kendrick just goes back into the ring.
And instead of fucking anything, TJP continues to hold the bottom rope as if he's tied to it when he is visibly not. And instead of anything, the fucking camera guy doesn't cut away. They just sit there with the camera perfectly framing TJP fucking not being tied to the rope. You change camera angles. And
the announcers are trying to sell it, and it's just like...
No, guys! No!
A man has come into this ring and thrown fire from his hands. A man had wrestled God. And that was more believable.
And won.
And then that was more believable than this fucking tape spot.
It's more believable that The Undertaker has actual satanic lightning powers than this fucking tape. It was so completely botched that the fans immediately they were out. Because fans know that wrestling is scripted, but in the same way you don't fucking turn to the audience in the middle of an episode of Game of Thrones, Joffrey never turns and goes, in real life, I'm actually a very nice guy. This is all fake.
Well, and I think that's a little fourth wall breaking and kind of fun, quirky. It's like a boom mic appearing. You said that yourself during the match, and it's like, oh, thanks for just bringing me out of it. What the fuck?
Yeah, you're right. It is.
Or perhaps more accurately, old bad CGI.
Like
where you're just like, oh, I have seen the rigging and I can't unsee the rigging.
Or like when old school UFOs, you could see the strings.
Yeah. Here's where the problem got exacerbated. So let's assume full benefit to Brian Kendrick here. He is wrestling slow, shitty matches because he is the heel. Slowing down a cruiserweight match
will get you boos.
Yeah, it gets you boos. That's the point. Okay, let's assume that's the case. And he's not just crap.
Old. He's just old. He's in his 40s,
That's
I think.
fine. Well, so is John Cena. So is AJ Styles, I believe.
Fair.
Chris Jericho, I'll give you that one. But instead of TJ Perkins taking control of the match and doing a couple of big spots,
getting some fire back.
Yeah, getting some fire back, getting the audience's buy-in back, helping them forget about it. Instead of that, they just
making it like a "you fucked up" chant. Because sometimes when people fuck up, you'll get a "you fucked up" chant, and then the audience moves right along.
Yeah, you pull it back. Instead of that, they go for one okay spot, like a move, and 2 sets of submissions.
Like
2 sets of the same submission
after each other,
and then he got kicked or something.
He's 37. No,
eat 10 dicks, Brian Kendrick.
No, fuck you.
So instead of any of that, instead of picking up the fucking pace
and doing the thing that lets an audience come back after the heel has shat on their good time, is the face makes his comeback. He spins it round and gets his fire going and makes a comeback.
But they didn't do that. I mean, like, yeah, he started to make a comeback, but it wasn't an entertaining comeback. It was like, I've done my submission. And then they did some, like, kick spot, and he pretended to be super injured.
No, it was actually in the middle of, like, it was in the middle of TJ's comeback, Kendrick was on the top rope, and TJ ran up to the top rope with him, and then pushed him off, and Kendrick landed, and pretended that he landed funny and hurt his knee.
Yeah, that was it. I'm sorry. I'm so mad I've changed facts about this match, but watch it for yourself to see what I'm talking about. And then, I mean, like, there's no... When he's doing his comeback, I don't mean like, oh, yes, it's that big, exciting comeback. I mean, like, he is
going through the motions.
Calmly walking toward a comeback.
We've had the punches. We've gotten the fucking... My brain just calls it a Cycloco powerbomb. And then the 5-knuckle shuffle is on its way. It's completely through the motions.
But there's no enthusiasm behind it. And he's on the top turnbuckle, and then we milk, after these 2 submissions, we milk Brian Kendrick, not sure if he's hurt.
No, sure that he's hurt, but, like, it's the most obvious ruse in the history of time. He may as well have been tying a lady to the railroad tracks and twirling his fucking curly mustache. As obvious as this betrayal was about to be.
And
it honestly just made Perkins look stupid. It honestly just made Perkins look stupid.
No, I don't think it did, because that requires that kayfabe still existed, and that was shattered by tape.
Yeah, you're right. It, like, just makes everyone in the match look stupid.
That's the problem. What you do, you pick up, you go fast, you bring the audience back in, and then you do that spot quicker. Because they fucking lingered. What was the match time on this?
10 minutes, 35 seconds.
I guarantee at least a minute and a half was Brian Kendrick rolling around on the ground going, oh no, I'm for reals hurt, you guys.
And a minute and a half is, of 10 minutes, like 15% of your total time.
This is essentially dead air. This is basically the equivalent of dead air.
Cutting to Brian Kendrick rolling around, acting hurt. Cutting to the ref, saying, are you hurt? And then cutting to TJP going...
Is he hurt? Did I hurt him?
Don't know.
Should I believe he's hurt? Kendrick snookers him, hits him with the fucking asshole hook, and TJ taps out.
Hook's a good name for a finisher. I'm sorry, it is.
I didn't remember what the fuck it was called. I thought it was the pirate hook anyway. But whatever. Yeah, and TJ taps out and loses his title to this slapshod idiot.
Yeah, no, it's bad. Like, I guarantee Kendrick's probably going to drop the belt back to him like next pay-per-view. Worst case scenario pay-per-view after that, because the next one's Survivor Series, and one of them might end up on the team.
This is the thing that bothers me, and I'm going to keep it succinct. This is not the Cruiserweight Classic. This is, you know what, I'm not going to point fingers, and I'm not going to name names. Somebody, or a series of somebodies, is fucking this up for a lot of people. And, I know they don't do Cruiserweight Classic moves in WWE. I know that. I know they don't do NXT moves in WWE. They play a hell of a lot safer, I understand.
Because they have very good reasons that I might not like, but I can't necessarily disagree with.
But that they play safe. And I'm not even talking about within the realm of there are cooler moves that exist. I mean within the realm of I saw cooler shit earlier from Bayley, who's not an over-the-top wrestler.
It was a bad match.
And Brian Kendrick wrestles bad matches.
He has since he came back. No,
the CCW stuff was...
That Cruiserweight Classic match was good.
He was okay. All the Cruiserweight Classic matches I saw him wrestle were okay. They were fine. But since he's gotten his contract, since turkey dinners are back on the menu, nothing.
Since he's back to whining and dining with kings and queens instead of sleeping in alleys and eating pork and beans.
Yeah, I mean, it infuriates me because this is not a sure thing. Vince McMahon is still booking the card.
And Vince McMahon hates vanilla midgets with a fiery passion.
Well, he hates cruiserweights, vanilla midgets or not. He doesn't think they sell. Well, of course they don't sell when you put the slow, shitty pirate on in the stupid fucking match where nothing happens and the audience doesn't buy it.
Well, I mean, let's be real. No one ever accused Vinnie Mac of being aware of his own confirmation bias.
Look, and again, I'm not pointing fingers. I am mad, but my actual blame is not going anywhere. Could have been a call backstage. Could have been an audible call during the match.
Could have been Kendrick. Could have been TJP.
It could have been somebody who was just like, you guys go out there, you wrestle exactly this way. Do not change anything. That is the rule. And fine, okay, that sucks, and it ended up sucking. I mean, fuck, all I know, it could have been John Cena who showed up and was like, hey, I want Brian Kendrick to win. I remember him, Brian Kendrick. I like him. You just do that thing, and you had that guy. Sorry, whatever you are. John Cena. It's like
that seems
Pokemon, he says his name.
That seems unlikely.
Well, no, yeah, but I mean, I don't know what happened. I wasn't there. But it was stupid. And
whoever made the call, you made a shitty call. Fuck you.
And no one ever recovered it. It was like, oh god, I dropped my baby. Oh shit, my baby's on fire. Oh, it's rolling down a hill. Oh, it's getting covered in cement. Into the ocean. I could have made a move at any point there to fix that. Nah, fuck it.
No, they chose their path. This is the future they chose.
Yeah, I'm not appreciative. It is pretty safe to say that colored the rest of the pay-per-view for me.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
you were visibly mad.
I had to leave the room. I was not happy. That said, there was some stupid shit that happened to the rest of the pay-per-view, but please, let's move along.
Cesaro and Sheamus versus The New Day, Big E and Xavier Woods specifically, for the WWE Raw Tag Team Championship. And, I'm not going to bury the lead. New Day still is the champs. Yeah.
And this really wasn't much to write home about. It was okay. It was better than the other.
It was the exact match that you wanted.
Yeah.
Cesaro and Sheamus didn't look bad. They ended up winning the match via DQ because of a miscommunication and because of some silliness that happened. There was some stuff where they, hit each other with where Sheamus hit Cesaro on accident with a brogue kick. It was clear that the thing that kept these guys from winning is the fact that they were not on the same page, which is the exact story you want to tell with that tag team at this point. You don't have them win in their first outing against the tag champs for the titles, although they did win in their first outing against the tag champs, which is good because it shows promise.
Sure.
This is exactly what you wanted to see happen. Them losing via DQ because Sheamus went full heel and ended up getting, a boot to the face from Kofi Kingston, which the ref saw. But on the other side of the ring, Xavier Woods was tapping out to Cesaro, gives them somewhere to move from, gives them a story to tell, gives them somewhere to go.
And it's also a creative way to keep the belts on the New Day for another pay-per-view cycle.
They just need to get
December
past the December pay-per-view, I believe it is. Actually, even to the December pay-per-view, we'll cinch it for them. But
so here's hoping.
Here's hope. They're so
Actually,
close.
I don't think there's a December pay-per-view. I don't think we pick up again. We've got Survivor Series. I think SmackDown has a pay-per-view, and then I don't think we pick up again until Royal Rumble. I could be wrong.
If that's the case, then they need to get past Survivor Series. So if there's no tag team title match in Survivor Series, smooth sailing, ladies and gentlemen. Because I want them to beat Demolition, because it's going to be so many years before another tag team has a fucking prayer of beating Demolition.
Yeah.
That and not for nothing, I'm sure they're nice guys and they're very popular, but they're just Road Warrior ripoffs.
Yeah.
They're just a ripoff of the Legion of Doom. That's what they are, and they weren't even that good at it, so I don't really give a fuck about their record. It's not like Ric Flair's record.
Right.
Because Ric Flair was fucking amazing.
Right. That man turned cocaine into pure entertainment, using only his body.
Most people just use their nose.
Yeah.
This match happened.
Yeah, I think it was better than the other tag match, but it just wasn't.
It just wasn't like...
I was fucking checked out, so...
I wasn't. I was having a good time.
No,
it was the exact match I wanted to see. It was fun. It happened. It's over now. And the New Day's still champs. Everybody wins. Moving right along.
It was a good reset after that god-awful Cruiserweight match.
Yeah, because the New Day did a promo at the beginning, and they brought the fans back in. Yeah. They bought the fans back in. Like, they have that amazing talent to do.
And then they decided to check the fans back fucking immediately.
So, Sasha Banks versus Charlotte Flair for the WWE Raw Women's Championship is your actual main event. Because the match that goes on last is the main event.
Yeah. And okay, you know what? I'm just bullet points here. What did I like about this match? I thought the spots were really good. Could have been better, but they were pretty good. The table spot was really weak. And
the last one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. She really wanted it to break, but it just wasn't happening.
It was another case of, just do it.
Their props failed.
Well, yeah, I guess, but just do the thing. Use use a different prop, do a different thing, whatever. Anyway.
Power bomber or whatever.
Sure, put more force into it. I don't give a shit, but whatever. Moving on. The spots were good. The psychology
was solid. Really,
very
actually,
solid.
very solid psychology.
I'm glad this was in the main event.
The level of brutality was like right on par with the Hell in the Cell match. They didn't shrink from it, which is what I was worried they were gonna do.
Yeah.
They beat the fuck out of each other, and it was a joy to watch.
Yeah. I got to see one of the moves I innovated sort of happen in real life, and I appreciate that. FIW, WWE flirting with me, trying to get me back into the match. But what did I not like about this match?
Mostly stuff that wasn't actually in the match.
Yeah.
They instead of bringing the cage down and having them make their entrances, they have them make their entrances, and then they brought the cage down because before the cell finished going down, Charlotte jumped Sasha and they fought along the outside. This was before the match ever officially started, and then Charlotte powerbombed Sasha through the announce table, which they sold like Sasha had been fucking stabbed in the spine. And like they did the thing where they put the face in a neck brace, and the face is trying to fight out and like trying to walk it off but can't. So they put them in a neck brace and they put them on the stretcher, and then it looks like they're about to lose, and the heel is all gloaty, and then the face gets the fire going and is like, no, not like this, and then they fight out of the stretcher and they start the match. But they start the match. That normally happens near the end of the match. Starting the match with that is a weird fucking choice because it just throws the tempo of your match all off.
Well, especially when this is the first ever WWE Women's Hell in a Cell match and was violently billed as such. It is a women's match main eventing a pay-per-view.
And so it almost seemed like WWE Creative was intentionally trying to get their smarky fans to think that they pussied out.
Or whatever the hell they were doing. I mean, and you know what? Okay, maybe for some people who hadn't been watching the rest of that show, or who, I don't know, if you were live and the New Day just came by and worked their magic on you, fine. But I left the room. I only caught the end of that promo, and it wasn't that good. I mean, it was the New Day, but look, I've seen better New Day promos. Once they were
the part you missed was better.
I'm sure it was. But okay, I'm not reset, and now you're like, okay, here's the main event. That was really cool that we advertised. Nah.
But it was pretty clear it was probably going to be a swerve because they weren't treating Sasha like they do someone who's actually injured. And it's also kind of a fun meta joke in that, Sasha has a history of not being able to compete in women's title matches because she has injuries.
Yeah, there's reasons to appreciate it, but I knock those violently off the table in a fit of childish rage and say, no, I don't want that. That's not what I wanted. Once they started fucking with me.
But once they started the match was fucking solid.
Once they started the match was fine. Now, the other reason I disagree with that entire opening is because Sasha Banks lost. What was the point of that?
You know what? I can make a case for it. Because if every time the heel took an advantage before the match and injured the face won, heels would stop doing that.
They
have to. It has to work occasionally.
And if it has to work at some point, I think now is a good time. Because as I mentioned earlier in this show, not too happy with Sasha Banks.
And it's possible creative isn't either.
This is a wrestler I was really bought into. And to watch her
seemingly not appreciate the position that she's in enough.
To watch her vacate the title because she wants to take some time off for quote-unquote niggling injuries after she had just returned from time off to heal an injury.
Why did you come back before you were full?
Yeah, something stupid happened there. Either you jumped the gun and that was stupid, or you're being a whiner, lazy baby child, and that was stupid. Look, I went through a table earlier this year, and I didn't feel like doing much of anything, but I went to work. And I'm a shitty fat guy.
Long and short of it is, either you came back too soon, which is dumb, and risk your health, and don't do that. Or you didn't come back too soon, and you're just being a whiner. Don't do that either. Don't be a whiner.
And that
you're a professional wrestler. You kind of have to be tough. It's part of the job description.
It pisses me off because I was so bought in.
You feel betrayed in a way.
I mean, not necessarily. It's just I don't trust her. I don't trust her to...
Clearly, I can no longer invest in you.
Exactly. And so, am I excited to see her win a match? No, not really. I mean, good point. I don't really like Charlotte and her fucking ironclad reign either. I mean, she didn't have the title coming in. She loses it on weekly shows all the time.
She loses it on Raw. They're doing a thing. She hasn't lost a pay-per-view match since she debuted in WWE. It's gonna Charlotte versus Bayley for WrestleMania. I called it a couple of pay-per-views ago. I think Charlotte versus Bayley, WrestleMania. The build is gonna be Bayley as the plucky underdog, and Charlotte, who in the fucking year and a half since she debuted hasn't lost a pay-per-view match. It's gonna be Rey Mysterio versus Big Match John. Let's hope it ends the right way this time.
You know what? And that's the thing. If that's how it pays off, I love it. There was a match that happened earlier tonight that I was kind of like, that was stupid. But there's enough ways that it comes off that, okay, if this pays off the way, any of the ways it should, I love it. And that was my problem with Seth Rollins versus Kevin Owens. It's like, this is not what I want to see. You've given me another shitty finish. I'm tired of seeing this match already. That was the whole point I was getting to when I started talking about fucking The Miz. I've seen this.
It's John Cena, Randy Orton, 2007.
I mean, yeah.
I've seen this match too much. Have them fight other people because I'm bored now. I don't care if they're the two best wrestlers to ever live.
And that's been WWE's thing. Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens was good, but they took it to pay-per-view too long.
Or two.
That was a multi-man match. I don't know if I count that.
That's fair. But this is their new thing: is they get a match that everyone loves between two talents that everyone loves, and then they take it too fucking far.
You know what? That might be it. That might be a new solid rule. Being married to somebody for a promo, or excuse me, for an angle, used to be 3 months. That was the rule. 3 is the magic wrestling number. They might have changed it to 4.
Change it back. 3 is the magic wrestling number. That hasn't changed. Not everything needs a once and for all final blow-off match. The 4th match is supposed to be a rare event, not the standard event. Oh my God, change it around. Well, I was watching pay-per-views from the mid-2000s the other week, and not a single pay-per-view in a 6-month span of pay-per-views that I watch, not a single, more than 2 in a row had the same main event, or even the same people in the main event.
And I can respect carrying one guy through multiple shows. I can. That's fine. That's great. Work a feud, but that's all you do. Except for the tag division, which is, at this point, just, come on, New Day.
New Day wins.
Let me drag you across this finish line.
Day wins. I don't care. They can be champions for 6 years. Bruno Sammartino level run. I don't give a fuck. They're the best thing on WWE television. Second best is Bayou Satan.
They're the best thing on Raw.
Yeah, that's hands down. Absolutely hands down.
Yeah, Rusev is second on Raw.
Yeah, Rusev is clearly second on Raw.
Glorious fucking Rusev. But
third might be Chris Jericho. Jesus.
Yeah, that was some good shit. But yeah, I mean, I can. Oh,
Charlotte wins. If we didn't.
Yeah, I did. We mentioned that. That's why I was like, this is kind of bullshit, but I'm okay with it. I can again relate this to E-Fed things. Rematch clauses when you lose a title. Those can be cool if you invoke them for storyline reasons.
Please, they don't need to be the basis. They don't need to be the baseline. Everyone doesn't need a rematch clause.
Right, because all that ends up being is there's always a rubber match. It always goes, I won the belt. No, I won the belt. Now whoever fights for the belt next, you can't rematch again. Oh, no, drama that we've seen over and over again. And that's all this ever is.
Literally, John Cena versus Randy Orton. You're describing their actual feud.
Yeah. Don't. That's what I got. Those are the things I have to say. Fuck Frank Kendrick.
This pay-per-view, I want to make sure we close in the right tone. This was a good pay-per-view.
The first look, up until that fucking Cruiserweight match, I was bought in. I was having a great time.
And I am not the white, so I wasn't as salty about it. And no, this whole pay-per-view, aside from one stinker, which was real fucking bad, the rest of this pay-per-view was really, really good. Genuinely really fun.
If you just took that match out, I would say this is a solid A pay-per-view.
If you watch it if you haven't seen it, if for some reason you listen to our opinion before watching the match, before watching the pay-per-view, watch the whole pay-per-view, skip the Cruiserweight match. You will have a great fucking time. Just skip the Cruiserweight match.
Skip it.
I just want to make sure that we ended on the right
110%.
tone because I didn't want to end negative because this show was really good.
Yeah, like I said, without that match, solid A. With that match, even still, like B plus, B.
Yeah, I would say solid A. It's exact same.
Because this takes it down a fucking letter grade.
A solid letter grade because it was a really shitty match and it was right in the middle and it fucked the entire mood of the
It's like if you spent the day at Disney World and then at like 7 o'clock at night when things are starting to wind down, someone runs up and punches you as hard as possible square in the dick hole. And you recover and then you finish out the night pretty nice and staff feels bad for you so they give you extra magic hours, but you still got punched really hard in the dick hole and that's going to leave a mark on your day.
You're going to, like, when you remember that one day looking back, it's not like you're going to forget the dick hole punch.
Yeah.
We're not going to forget the Cruiserweight match happened because it was really shit. But
from a booking and a wrestling and an ideological standpoint.
Like, it was just that.
It's just fucking
Rest of the pay-per-view, fucking A. A pay-per-view, great. I look forward to seeing the internet hate it because that has been the pattern of the last 5 months of the 2 Inch Podcast. As I do our podcast completely clean, no interference from anyone else, then I go immediately after and look at how the internet viewed that pay-per-view, and you guys always have the exact opposite opinion. And I love it. I love it.
Well, see, but this isn't a SmackDown pay-per-view. So there's no AJ Styles moment at the end to automatically reset everything to be fantastic.
Man, like, you would think his dick was made of chocolate eclairs, the number of people who try and suck it.
It's mediocre at best. At worst, he's way worse than mediocre. But he usually tries his best.
And he can put on a solid wrestling match.
100% solid.
He's a good worker.
You know, whatever. I think sometimes it's not about the hero you want. And he has made John Cena, finally get the recognition and praise he deserves for working so hard for us for all these years.
Because John Cena is the hero the WWE deserves.
No, he helps a lot of kids. I was going to be really offended for the WWE, but nice.
Look, there's many edges to that statement, and I mean every one of them. Everything's better when nerds talk about it.
Fuck it, let's go!